I mentioned earlier, is an important part of financial planning, and there are tools that are available out there. These are some of the considerations you need to have when you're putting together your budget. You need to be able to discern between a need and a want. A need is food, clothing, shelter. Those are needs, very important. We need to have them. Wants, nice to have, jewelry, fancy suits, whatever the case may be. However, wants and needs will be different for different people. But it's important that you are able to actually discern between the two and then ensure that your budget speaks to that. Now, this is a budgeting guideline that was made famous by Elizabeth Warren, who's an American author, and she puts across a proposal of how to structure your budget. Going back to what I said about wants and needs, she proposes that 50% of your income, so this is income after tax to be taken into consideration, 50% of your income should go towards your needs. So this is housing, transport, groceries, and the like. 30% should go towards your wants, and 20% towards your savings. And savings here could be for retirement, and within the savings portion, this is we can also invest your money. I think another thing that I've learned from COVID, a lot of us again lost a lot of loved ones. An emergency fund is something that we need to have. So as part of your savings, think about putting some money away for some of those eventualities. I like to use an example of me and my brother. So where I am right now, I'm trying very hard to maintain sort of within this guideline. However, I'm unable to save as much as my brother can. He's 31, he's not married, he doesn't have a house, he's got a car. So
up and down, sometimes as often as every day, every hour, the price could go up or down. At Allen Gray, we like to think of risk more differently, which is the risk of a permanent loss of capital. So for example, Joseph loaned me $100 this morning. If I tore up the $100 into little tiny pieces, there's no way, if I try to glue it back together, that I could get back the $100. It would be very difficult for someone to accept it if it had a lot of tape on it. That's literally being intentional with a permanent loss of capital. It often refers to you buying something for much more than it's worth. I think a good example is a Land Cruiser. I'm hoping if you retire and you plan to buy a Land Cruiser, at least buy a used Land Cruiser. Maybe it has, 100,000, maybe 50,000 kilometers on the odometer. However, if you have the choice between two, one has 50,000, one has 75,000, but both of them cost the same amount of money, you will essentially be paying much more for the one that has 75,000 on it rather than 50,000 kilometers on it. And you will never really be able to get that money back. What you would require is you almost meet what's called the greater fool. Someone else who would be also foolish enough to spend money on something that it's not worth. But going back to the type of assets, you've got, at the top, you've got cash, which is risk-free. So for example, based on the $100, if I forget that I put it in my jeans, and I only remember, say, 2 months from now, and I take it out, I can still use the same $100 to buy more or less the same thing in 2 months' time. That's why it's called risk-free. A bond, quite simply, is a loan. It's a very formal loan, and it's a promise. And the difference between bonds is, if I loaned Joseph $1 million, if I loaned Amos $1 million, and if I loaned the government of Namibia $1 million, the government is more likely to pay me back than Amos and then Joseph. And then also with a bond, sometimes that $1 million can also go up depending on the price that you bought that bond for. that you purchase here in Katima versus in Swakop versus in Windhoek. They're the same house, they could both be 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and depending on the time at which